like instantly, like overhand. So if you've never thrown a grenade before, you don't really, you don't throw it like that. Grenades are actually surprisingly heavy. If you Hello, welcome back. It's Saturday night, 15th of February 2025. I've got my whiskey and coke. I'm ready. So, it's been a while actually since I uploaded. I've been ill, working, looking after the kids, doing stuff around my house. So, unfortunately, it's not that I didn't have time, I just couldn't be bothered. Is what it is. So, where were we? I believe last episode I was talking about the time I spent in Hunter Company. I think I said all there is to say really about that, like what it is that you need to do to get out of Hunter Company, how you can end up in Hunter Company, whether it be through failing something or medical reasons. I think are the only two ways of going there, and what happens when you're a Hunter Company, that type of stuff. So this week, what I thought I'd talk about is I'll wrap up training. Now I think 4 episodes about talking about training is probably enough. If I weren't such a biff and ended up in Hunter Company, it probably would have been 3 episodes. Yeah, so I spent a fair bit of time in Hunter Company getting over the injury that I had. I also said that they put me back in training too early. It happened again. So yeah, so basically I went into Hunter Company when I was at week 21, I think, or 22, whatever week bottom field pass out is. So bottom field pass out is where you do the assault course on bottom field. So yeah, bottom field pass out. So what you do in bottom field pass out, you do 30-foot rope climb, the assault course, 200 meter fireman's carry, and then finally a regain over the water tank. And this is all done wearing your webbing and carrying a rifle, which weighs combined around 30 pounds, so around 15 kilograms, somewhere around there. I just noticed I've actually got a bite on my thumb from something. Just squeezed all the septic out. Yeah, so yeah, that's what bottom field pass out is. I did okay on it actually. Didn't have to retake anything. Some people, you go up the 30-foot rope, they won't make it to the top, or they'll come down before PTI tells them, and that's a fail. So they'll have to do the whole thing and then come back to the end and do the rope climb again, and you don't want to do that because you'll be hanging out. So, I mean, to be fair, for me, I probably thought the hardest thing in the bottom field pass out was probably the fireman's carry, because I'm only 5'6". I've got like little umpa legs, so that was probably the hardest thing I thought. But I passed everything first time on that. Didn't need to retake anything like some of the troop did. Just getting a WhatsApp message there. So yeah, bottom field pass out. Not much to it. I think there's a few more exercises. I think the main one that I remember is the exercise in Sennybridge, violent entry, I think it was called. So we got dropped off at Sennybridge training area. Went for a yomp. I don't know how far it was. I can't remember. Then spent God knows how many hours digging trenches, like fire trenches. They were probably like about 4 foot deep, maybe. But you're already tired anyway. Yeah, it was hard work doing it with pickaxes and shovels. You got to mark out the trench with bits of string and all this. Doing it in the dark. Eventually you end up getting in your NBC kit, so you get in what I'm assuming is still called Romeo 4. So respirator, like NBC kit, so like chemical warfare suit, if you like, and like rubber boots that go over your boots, and they're a fucking nightmare to walk in. They really are. They're really difficult. So they never seem to fit. Well, they never fitted me anyway. Like, they're always just, you have to do them up really tight and they always come loose. A fun story about that particular exercise. I remember as well. I remember it was really cold. I remember there was not a cloud in the sky in Senny Bridge. I remember looking up, seeing all the stars. And then the next thing I remember is I had my head on my on my rifle. My head was on my rifle like this, and I opened my eyes, and there was a pair of boots in front of me. I looked up. It was the troop commander. I can't remember his name. Looked over to my right, and the bloke next to me was full on asleep like this, leaning back, just chilling. So we both got put in a little stream that was down. It was down the bottom somewhere where our trenches were, and I was actually in my NBC kit at the time, and it's not fun to get wet in. It normally keeps you quite dry, but it doesn't when it's wet. It's fucking full of charcoal and stuff as well. It goes weird when it gets wet through like that. So yeah, violent entry always said to be a honking exercise. That bit is, but the actual good bit was doing like the obvious stuff in I can't remember, Selene Village. Yeah, Selene Village. I was getting mixed up. So there's Copill Down, which is at Salisbury Plain, and then in Sennybridge you got Selene Village. Yeah, I remember there was a lot of obvious stuff we did in Selene Village, which was actually quite good fun, to be fair. I did quite enjoy that part of the exercise. So yeah, exercises you do. I mean, I think probably the next big event after that I remember was the live field firing, which I really enjoyed as well. So live field firing is there was 2 weeks of it. Was up in Dartmoor, I think it was. Yeah, Dartmoor. And basically, the training team set up these like little ranges. So I think there was like a CQB range, so CQB close quarter battle. So like there's like you got like a stream or something like that. It's like targets sort of hid behind stuff. You have to shoot them, and then you'll probably end up chucking a grenade at the end of it or something like that. Then I believed it moved on to, I can't remember if it was pairs or fire teams. So pairs being obviously there's there's 4 of you, but you move in pairs. And then fire team was basically a section of 8, should be a section of 8, and you have Charlie and Delta. Charlie fire team moves, then Delta fire team moves, so on and so forth, working your way up to the target, and then you'll usually end up doing some sort of flanking manoeuvre. I don't know if we did troop level stuff in live field firing, though. I can't actually remember, to be honest. But one of the best things I do remember from it though was being in a FUP, forming up point, I believe that is. So forming up point, so you make sure you've got a fresh mag on, you've got your bayonet on, your grenades are somewhere easy to get to. You take obviously you don't take the pin out, but basically a grenade comes with a pin and then like a transit clip. So if you do accidentally pull the pin out, it's still not going to go off. So basically you get to that point, you're taking like the transit clips off and all this. And I remember being hid behind a wall there with my grenade, and I remember one of the training team like making sure I had hold of this grenade. I remember throwing it. You don't throw it like this, like in World War II films where they like to go. Well, we don't do that. Throw it overhand. Hold on. We're back. I don't know what I did. I did something. So yeah, in the World War II films, they always throw a grenade. I'm gonna have to crouch down a little bit. Like it's not like overhand. So if you've never thrown a grenade before, you don't throw it like that. Grenades are actually surprisingly heavy if you've never held one before. You basically throw it kind of like, I guess if you're throwing it over something, you're not going to, but you're just throwing it like a tennis ball almost. I remember being there, member of training team, whoever it was, make sure I've got all the grenade, throw it over the wall, go down, and if you've never seen a grenade explode, not that I was staring at it, but a grenade when it explodes, it's not like a ball of fire like in the films. It's literally just, it's like a cloud of dust. You don't really see anything. The only thing you'll really see is like dust coming off the floor, and that's it. And they are loud. Yeah, they are very loud, even out in the open. And then so grenade went off like over the wall. Me and the bloke I was with, we did pair, not individual firing manoeuvre. So individuals, I think, is when your pairs break down. It's been a long time. Yeah, so fire manoeuvre up to the target, bayonet the target, all that good stuff, and then the section formed up on us. And yeah, that was actually, I think, one of the most enjoyable things I did in training. It was really, you know, because most of the time you're working with blanks or you're working on a range, and when you're firing and you're seeing the bullets hit the floor, well, you're not seeing the bullets hit the floor, but you're seeing the impact of the round hitting and the soil flying up in the air and the targets there, and it's just really exciting. It was good fun. Loved it. The only other time that I remember doing live field firing was actually in Canada in 2010. Hold on, something's annoying me. I keep seeing it in the camera. Yeah, so moving on, I think probably what's the biggest thing after that, it's probably Final X. I can't remember if you do Final X first, then field firing, actually, to be fair. But Final X, yeah, that was really, really good fun. I mean, at the time, looking back, it is. So, got picked up from football fields at the top of Limpston in Chinooks, flew over to Bodmin Moor, did like a troop level action on some like farmhouse. Then we got picked up again by the Chinooks, flown to the home of 2-9 Commando in Plymouth, so for the Citadel. Although at the time I didn't actually know I was in the Citadel, and I didn't have a clue where I was. It was just people walking around doing their daily stuff, and I was in all-round defence in a car park, and people just walking past us, and I didn't know what was going on. Then eventually we made our way through the car park of the Citadel, out of some, like the door, we went round the side, down the road, and went into like a little harbour. Got on like these rubber landing crafts. I can't remember. I think they're called Zodiacs or Geminis. I'm gonna have a quick look. Zodiacs. One thing I missed out actually is like the amphibious week. Is it a week? Like amphibious week you do at pool, but you're just learning about landing crafts and stuff, and you learn what to do if one tips up. How to get in and out of a landing craft. You know, being an amphibious soldier is quite important, and you do that down Poole, the home of the Special Boat Service. I don't remember seeing any of them, to be honest. That's about it, really. Yeah, you're just getting in and out of landing craft, and they just drive you around Poole Harbour for a lot of time, and you're getting in and out of them. Cross decking at night. That was quite good actually. Cross decking drill. So that's getting from one landing craft to another. Yeah, sometimes you have to do that. So yeah, back to Final X. Yeah, so then got in these Zodiacs, went all round this like river in Plymouth, got out of the landing crafts somewhere, did an attack on an old like pumping station or something like that. Took the long way round, obviously. Attack on a pumping station, back in the Zodiacs. Back to, there's like a little, if you're from round that way, I think it's called HMS Tamar or something. I think the river's called Tamar. There's like a little Royal Navy place. So I've got a bit of a black nose. There's a little like Royal Navy place where I think they use for training. There's like a tiny little ship there. I think we just use it for like training, like seamanship skills and stuff like that. Got off there, got on a coach. Figure that one out. Got on a coach to Okehampton Camp, and then we started yomping across Dartmoor. And basically, I think the exercise is like, I think it was like maybe 10 days long. So that was like day one. Yeah, so day one was pretty action packed, and then all through the Final X, basically you just yomping from like objective to objective. Like it'd be a farmhouse, or maybe there's not many wood blocks in Dartmoor, but maybe a small wood block or something like that. Doing like troop level actions on them. Sometimes you'll be doing a recce, so I think sections took it in turn to do recce's, and then then we'd be like a plan of attack made and all this sort of stuff when you'd be giving your orders and then doing another attack. It was tiring. When you're carrying like, I think we carried like 5 days worth of rations at any one time. I think carrying greenies. So a greenie is this, if I can find it. Yeah, these are greenies, and these have been basically filled with concrete to mimic the weight of 81mm mortar rounds. So one greenie is like 2 of these tubes, basically. You carry them under your top flap. You carry them radio batteries, Some section commanders be carrying radios as well. 355s, no 354s, sorry, which is one of these. Yeah, this is a 354. And then basically, yeah, that's. I remember the exercise finished at, I think it's called Tregantle Fort. Tregantle Fort. So basically, it's like an old Napoleonic fort from the 1800s, and you do a recce on it. We abseiled in into the moat, crawled in through some. I couldn't even see; it was pitch black. Through some little window. Went around the basement of the castle, while another section was creating a diversion. So it's really good. That's the final attack. I'm trying to find where it was. Sorry, it wasn't Tregantle Fort. Tregantle Fort is where we do range packages. I think we bivvied up near Tregantle Fort. It was actually Scraysden Fort where we did the final attack. And that little Royal Navy place that I was talking about, it's not HMS Tamar. HMS Tamar is actually massive. So, I don't know what it was. It might have been this, Jupiter Point, maybe. Is it Jupiter Point? That was it's quite enjoyable. I remember we actually I was nearly broken man after the obviously it was pretty tiring. It was hard. It was hard work, and you could fail it as well. It wasn't a given that you'd pass. After the attack on Scraysden Fort, then we gone round and cleaned all our empty our brass. So clearing your brass, if you don't know, is you go around and pick up all the empty bullet casings basically. Because if you got to think, if every 2 weeks there's a Royal Marines final X going on, then there's probably other exercises going on there too. Eventually it's just going to become unusable for the amount of brass that's on the floor, so you have to pick it up and it gets disposed of somewhere. I remember we thought we were hoping that we were going to get picked up right outside the fort. Then the training team made us walk. I can't remember how far. Far enough when you thought it was over. I think it's just a little psychological thing we wanted to do. So yeah. Made us walk with all our kit somewhere. I don't know where it was. Remember, it took a while though. Got picked up by coaches, and then that's final X over, taken to Lympstone. And when you do finish an exercise, you have to declare that you have no, what was it sir, I have no live rounds, empty casings, or pyrotechnics in my possession, something like that. And you basically show me your magazine pouches are empty. We stick your hands in, and then we say if you do find anything, add it into an NCO, nothing more will be said, blah blah blah, or put it in an amnesty bin. So at Lympstone there's always little, and most military bases is what's called an amnesty bin. So if you do find any ammunition on yourself, you're supposed to put it in one of these or give it to somebody responsible. So, and then training, I guess the biggest thing, and it's a thing that people worry about even from day one, and that's commando tests. And I remember I was in the weapon stances at Lympstone, and the section commander, Corporal, this was before I went into Hunter Company, this is when I was with my original troop. Yeah, sorry, so we're in weapon stances, Corporal Pierce, and I remember he was an intense character, I'll say, but like I said in the first episode, they're not there to be your friend, so it doesn't matter. But he said, basically, anyone got any questions? And I remember one bloke was asking about the 30 miler, and he just turned around and said, you won't make it to the 30 miler. And it was true. It's not true. And he was right, that bloke didn't make it to the 30 miler. And he said, you need to stop worrying about things that are right at the end of training. You need to worry about things that are coming up this week or next week and stuff, basically stuff like that, not exact words. So yeah, people start worrying about the commando tests from day one, and there's so much more that you could be worrying about. So first one is the, what was it? 9 miler, which I think you do on a Saturday. 9 miles, 90 minutes, £21 in a rifle plus your water. 9 miles in 90 minutes. At the PTI's pace, I think you have a water break at the 4.5 mile point probably. Yeah, it's cracking my neck. Yeah, it's done around the roads at Lympstone. Not much more to say about that. It can be easy or hard, depending on your PTI. Some PTIs like to sprint speed marches for some reason, and some of them are actually pretty good at it. Some of them not so much. The next one is on the Monday, so I think you do your speed march Saturday, you get the Sunday off, sort of. Then on the Monday you do the endurance course, I think. The endurance course actually is honking, and it is really, I thought it was really hard, but it is like quite enjoyable at the same time. So it's like 4 miles around Woodbury Common. You're going through like streams, ditches, you go through the famous sheep dip, which they always show on the TV, where you go completely underwater, but the chances of drowning, I think, zero. Well, not zero, obviously, because you're underwater, but very, very slim. Something would have to go drastically wrong. So you got one bloke at either side here, one bloke pushing you through, the other one pulling you out, and also one of the training team is there with like a thing to basically just let all the water out, like this massive like key that we can turn like this, and it'll just open it all up, and all the water will disappear. So if you drown, it's probably because you're being held in there by the blokes who are supposed to be pushing and pulling you through. So when you start the endurance course, they try and put you with people who are relatively the same speed as you. 'Cause you do a few run throughs, and I think they look at people who are similar times. So they try and stick you with like 2 other people who are about the same speed as you. So you have to stick more or less in that sort of threesome up until you've done the sheep dip, and then it's your own. You know, you just need to go, and it is really hard. You know, you're going through tunnels. You go through the Smarty tube and stuff like that. And you got to keep your rifle clean as well. I do believe that if you have to clean your rifle at the end because you got dirt in the muzzle or in any of the working parts, I think they had like 30 seconds on to your time. So if you come in with 30 seconds to go and your rifle's dirty, we're going to add 30 seconds on, and then you might fail. Yeah, so you do this. You do it all around Woodbury. You do it around Woodbury Common, and then it's like a 4-mile run back to camp along the 4-mile route. And then you come into camp and you go to the 25-metre range. What a hard day! I've been putting up some walls and stuff. Go to the 25-metre range, and then you shoot at a small target. It's supposed to represent that you're shooting at 100 metres. Believe it or not, you get 10 rounds, and you've got to hit 6 on target, I think, to pass. Believe it or not, I had 11 rounds in my target because the bloke next to me shot my target at some point, and he had no holes in his own target, but he managed to hit mine. So unfortunately, he failed. And they were discussing about failing me as well, because they're like, oh well, how do we know that he's hit the target enough times? It might have been him hitting his and all this, and well, eventually I think we just thought, nah, sorry, this other bloke, it's not even at his own target. So yeah, we didn't fail me for it. The next one is a Tarzan assault course. It's high up, you know, some of it's like 30 foot up in the air. You don't have an helmet on, but there is netting. But people have fell off and hit their heads and become vegetables. It's not pleasant, so it can be dangerous. Yeah, no, especially for me, I'm like 5'6". There's one called the Postman's Walk, where I was literally, you're like stepping on like rope ladders, and then there's like some wire to hang on. I was literally like this with my fingers. I could barely hang. I was like that on, with my fingertips, hanging onto it. And then when people are coming up behind you, it's fucking bouncing around. It wasn't fun. That bit wasn't fun. The rest of it I didn't think was too bad. So you do the Tarzan assault course, you basically run through part of camp, and then you do the bottom field assault course again. Then when you climb up a 30-foot wall with a rope, then I'm doing this, but yeah, you got a rope and you like putting your feet on bits and bobs, and then you jump in, and then that's you done. I actually pissed myself when I jumped into the top. I don't know why. My body just let go, and I just pissed my pants. Just happened. No idea why. I didn't mean to do it. It just happened. Then the final one being a 30 miler, and you got 8 hours to do it. Funny old story. I actually failed a 30 miler by 5 minutes, I think, something like that. I do look back and think, could I have given more? But I don't know. Like I was so, like, I was going forwards, backwards, side to side, like. I don't know. I just don't think I could have done. I did the 30 miles. I just don't think I could do it any quicker than what I did it. So didn't have to do it again the next day. It was the day after. So the day after was the King Squad piss up, and I was in bed because I had to do the 30 mile the next day. And that was around Woodbury Common and Lympstone. It still weren't easy, you're running on a lot of it on tarmac. And I think we finished it literally with about 10 seconds to go. I remember it was Captain Sparks, and he met us just at where you actually start the endurance course. And he said, we've got to pick up the pace. If you can't keep up, you can't keep up. And off he went. And there was a bloke called John Dick. Or was it Ross? Let me check. Yeah, so there was me, a bloke called John Ross Dick, who unfortunately, I believe, committed suicide a couple of years ago, unfortunately. Another bloke called Jowett, who looked a bit like me, actually. So it was us three, and John and Captain Sparks were at the front. I was probably about some ranging like 30 to 50 metres behind them, and then Jowett was probably like another 50 metres behind me. I kept nearly catching up, and then Captain Sparks just kept like disappearing again. And I managed to catch him up right down at the bottom of the 4 mile route where you come down, you go like down Leafy Lane, you cross the road, and then you keep just running down the 4 mile route. And I managed to catch him up there, and he waited for Jowett there, but he was looking at his watch the whole time. And then Jowett caught up, and then off we went. I was keeping up with him. Jowett kept dropping back, catching up, dropping back, catching up, dropping back. And eventually we crossed the finish line, and I think we literally had about 10 seconds left. So it goes to show, even when you're doing it around Woodbury Common, especially when you've done it already across Dartmoor, it's not easy. Probably would it have been easier if we'd have not done it around Dartmoor first, like a couple of days before? Probably. But the fact that your body's depleted, you're probably reaching exhaustion. It wasn't easy. It was quite hard. And after all that, when you do your King Squad parade and you get presented your green beret, you do your green beret presentation, and you love it. You're looking smart as a guardman, twice as hard, training team used to say. And then you go back to your accommodation and you basically get changed into your blues, which is these. And then you do like a little parade for your well, not necessarily your parents. It could be anybody who's come to see you. I'll post a link to those videos if they're still on YouTube, which I believe they are. Yeah, and then you do that when you go. It used to be called the Savile Room, named after Jimmy Savile. It is no longer, for obvious reasons. And we were all like, oh yeah, we're gonna get absolutely hammered, but everyone was so tired, including myself, that I had like one drink and I just wanted to go, and I wanted to start my long weekend. And then that's it. And you say your goodbyes to people. Some people you'll be seeing again at unit, some people you'll never see again, some you'll bump into on courses or on operations and that type of stuff. But yeah, that was it. That was the end of training. Got my stuff, went to my dad's car, and I went home. And then the Sunday I drove up to Arbroath to start my time in a commando unit, and that's what I'll probably speak about in the next episode. Anyway, thank you very much. Hope you enjoyed it. Like, subscribe, leave a comment, all that. Thank you very much.